Okay, I'm starting to stream right now. We'll see if it goes live. I was having some weird issues with like the title, showing my test titles and stuff like that, but as soon as people can see that I'm live, all right, I think it just went live right now, and so let me know if you're on there. I was having a little bit of issues getting the title to not say that it was a test that I was testing earlier, so that's why I'm about 5 minutes late, but hopefully you guys can see it now and it doesn't just say test. It's Veganism is a globalist cult. InfoWars live response. This is going to be my first live response. I'm super excited. Hello, everybody. I see you now. Hey. Okay, so this is going to be slightly slower paced than my normal responsive videos, but I am still excited to get all the information across, and hopefully it will be pretty smooth, and we're going to see. Hello, everybody. Yes. Pretty funny, I had a poll the other day whether I should do an Anthonybourdain video or this video, and it was like exactly 50-50 after several thousand people, and it was 50-50. And so that's pretty crazy, and I'm going to go ahead and start watching this video and then respond to it in real time. And for those of you who don't know, InfoWars is a bit of a sort of alt-right conspiracy-related thing, and a lot of people are like, don't even waste your time on InfoWars, but I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun to respond to all of these crazy claims, and it's just why not? And so I'm going to go for it, and we're going to see if we can get the points across. I'm going to try and crank some studies in here and respond to her points point by point, and we'll see how well that works out. I'm going to try and be shuffling back and forth between stuff here. So I am going to start her off, and then I'm going to pause and respond, and you'll just see very quickly how amazingly ridiculous her views are. And so we're gonna just go for it right now. Okay, so I'm going to shift you over. So here she is.
Vegan ideology can be used as a vehicle to usher in globalism and globalist policies.
Oh my God, I'm so scared.
Now, as innocent as veganism may seem, if you actually scratch the surface, the more you'll find when you start questioning vegans and their lifestyle. It's a lot bigger than just a diet. It's actually an ideology, and to some degree, it's a cult.
Okay, so she opens up being like, veganism is a cult, and so it's pretty mind-boggling. And so for fun, why not, let's take a look at and let me know if the all the levels are good and stuff. Let me know if the audio is good. So really quickly, okay, yeah, what's wrong with globalism and veganism is a cult? We'll get more into globalism in a second, but right now I just want to just take a look at the definition of a cult really quickly. You can see right here, a system of religious veneration and devotion directed toward a particular figure or object. And the first point is a relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. And so you can say any other group that you think is strange is a cult. That's just ridiculous, but there's no sinister evil vegan agenda here. It's to save animals. We have a misplaced or excessive admiration for what? Animals doing the right thing? I don't think there's a problem there. Anyway, that's a side tangent there, so we might as well get back into it, but I just wanted to throw the cult point in there. So let's go. All right.
Most vegans that I've talked to actually acknowledge the fact that they could not live and sustain a vegan diet if it weren't for global trade and the fact that they have access to fruits and vegetables that are produced on other continents.
Okay, so right back to that question, we might as well look at it now. As people are afraid of globalization for some reason all of a sudden. I believe it has to do with a sort of conspiracy situation. Yeah, Millie's arguments are irrefutable. Give it up. No, I'm not going to give it up. So basically, they're saying globalization is bad. Their exact reasons are kind of unclear. It's kind of ridiculous, probably sort of New World Order stuff. And so she's trying to say that you can only get vegan food if it's shipped from across the world. And she has more points about that. Let's look at the more points, and then I'm going to go into some actual research on the topic real quick. All right.
Your whole argument that we can live on veganism is based on this new idea that we can have globalized agricultural systems, and it's really a huge feat and a big project.
You're absolutely right, and I'm not being improper because I agree with you, right, on that point. So, and the issue,
issues
that you raise, again, it comes back to this idea of it's going to be a gradual shift to veganism. And look, there's going to be bumps in the road. I'm not saying it's going to be a smooth transition and going vegan is going to answer all of the world's problems. I'm going to admit that to you.
If we didn't have globalization and global trade, you could not actually sustain yourself yourself off of a vegan diet if you only had the local produce that was seasonal available to you in this northern region.
I couldn't tell you what season.
Okay, really quick. Okay, I'm sorry I have to put you guys through this, even watching this, but she's saying that we just couldn't even grow food for ourselves, and that is absolutely ridiculous. If you're looking at a map of the U.S., first of all, we have different growing zones. I can show you some different growing zones right now. Why not? We've got this map right here, hardiness growing zones. You know, we grow vegetables all year round from California to south of the United States. That is not a problem. We can supply that, and we can easily supply the grains, which you can grow and store for the rest of the season. And we also have this thing, this new fancy invention called a greenhouse, so we can grow things. It's just completely ridiculous, and that's just me trying to appeal to her logic of globalism being bad. I don't think globalism is bad. Obviously, you can do bad things under the guise of globalism, you know, economic hitmen stuff, and go and take over local economies and overthrow governments. That's different. I'm just talking about the ability of countries to trade with each other. I do not see that as a major issue. All right, let's get back into it.
Seasonal fruit and veg, and if I could do it all year round, but I don't have to worry about that because we can sustainably live by getting food from different parts of the country and from different states. So we can get avocados from California and take them to Cleveland, and that's fine, and we can do that sustainably as well.
So basically you admit that the entire premise of veganism is based on having globalization.
You admit that veganism is a globalist cult that's trying to take over the world and ruin everything. Oh my god, she's ridiculous.
Globalism, essentially.
I know what InfoWars is like, and the topic of globalization is a scary word for you guys, and I appreciate that, but the issue...
Exactly, so he knows exactly what it is. He knows about InfoWars' fear of globalism.
Well, veganism is something that we would like to spread across the world just because it's a more compassionate and ethical way to live.
A vegan talking point is that less farmland will be used if we actually cut off all meat production and we switch 100% to vegetable grain crops.
All the grain that's used in this country alone could feed 800 million humans, which means we could eradicate world hunger with just the grain that's fed to animals in this country alone.
Well,
you tell him, Ed, and by the way, this is exactly what he's talking about right here, this Cornell article about, and this is a little bit older, but 800 million people could be fed with the livestock that's fed to grain in this country alone, and that solves most of the world's hunger problems right there, but here we go. She says some more ridiculous stuff.
Here's how that's actually not necessarily the case. A global population census estimated that in order for the entire global population to switch to an all-vegan diet, they would essentially have to adapt a one-child policy. And with our...
Okay, I'm going to stop her right there. First of all, I opened this thing up right here, and this is not a census. A census is measuring actual populations that exist currently. This is talking about estimates of human population, and their estimate for human population right down here is that they're anticipated to hit around 9 billion in 2050. And if you didn't see the screenshot that she just screenshotted right in here, it says, quote, our planet can provide room and food, at least at a subsistence level, for 50% more people than are alive now because humans are already growing enough cereal grains to feed 10 billion people on a vegetarian diet, which would also work for a vegan diet. And so what she actually is quoting the exact thing that is proving her point wrong, which absolutely blows my mind. It is saying right here that even 20 years from now, with a population, or yeah, more than that, like 30 years from now, just what we are growing right now with our land, we will be able to feed every single hungry person on Earth if we switch to a vegan diet. And she's saying that all of a sudden we have to just not reproduce to feed people with a vegan diet, which is completely crazy, and I don't understand how she got that math. I don't understand how she could read that quote and come up with that answer right there. So let's go ahead and pop back into Millennial Millie right here, who's an InfoWars reporter for those who are just hopping on right now, talking about how veganism is a globalism cult.
Current global population, you would have to essentially take all of the arable land, all of the good farmable land, and turn it into agricultural land for the production of crops and vegetables. The vast majority of that good arable farmland actually is inside the United States. And
okay, wait, she just said the majority of the farmland? Okay, this is look, all this South Africa, all of this here, bing, 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 all of that in like Southwest Russia. No, the majority of it is in the U.S. Somehow she saw
farmland actually is inside the United States, and a good portion of it is in the Midwestern and Eastern area of the United States. Now, if you look in the eastern area of the United States, you actually have a lot of development, commercial development, and homes everywhere. So you would essentially have to destroy the rights of the American people and use eminent domain to seize all of their land in order to work out a global vegan diet-based society.
Okay, she just said that you'd have to use eminent domain to kick everybody out of their land to grow enough food when we're already growing enough food to feed people in 2050 when there's 9 billion people. But ignoring that for a second, let's just take a look at a map right here. Let me shift you over to it. This is a map of the population, which I think is a pretty awesome map, showing peaks of population. And there's so much room. There's so much room in there to grow. I mean, I live in Iowa right now, and all of this in here is growing a ton of corn and soy, and there is so much room. There's hardly any people in there. All of these spaces, we can grow so much food in these spaces. And so I just don't even understand what she's getting at. It's pretty amazing. And then in case you're wondering, from this report, we are already using about half of the U.S. land for livestock, and this is a chart I made that represents that data right there. And so it's just crazy that to be afraid of land use for a vegan diet when the current situation is that we're using over half of it. So that's pretty amazing. So yeah, everybody is like, oh my God, why are you even responding to this? But it's honestly, I find this stuff so entertaining. And just the way she talks and the way she's spinning it all and how everything is a cult and all that stuff. And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm forcing you to listen to her, but why not? Let's just have a good laugh about it, have a good time, and get back into it right now. So let's see what else she says.
We would have to have Agenda 21 enacted where everyone's forced into little cities in sky-rise buildings in order to survive in this new type society where we would have forced resource-based controlled society.
Does anybody recognize this footage of this forced resource economy? This is the Venus Project, which is about basically how you could live without ever having to work by basically automating things. Obviously, it has its pros and cons, but it's just kind of funny. They probably view that as like the devil. Like, oh no.
Societies that would all be living off of a vegan diet.
It's the single biggest thing or the single smallest thing we can do that has the biggest impact is going vegan. And all these other issues we do have to address, single-use plastic, greenhouse gas emissions from other sources, absolutely, crude oil use. But it's such a pivotal and significant...
Hipsters, oh no! Why does this have to do with anything? She's saying that all hipsters are vegan. Sorry to interrupt, Ed.
Significant thing that we can do that'll have such a huge impact.
So do you think that we should pass laws to shut down slaughterhouses and ban meat?
Absolutely. We believe that animals have the same right to freedom and to live a happy life as anybody else does.
You tell them, Amanda from Cleveland.
We believe that species is an irrelevant, characteristic for who deserves rights.
Are you talking about banning meat in America or globally?
It's not about us banning something, because we realize it's probably very impossible to ban something, but if we encourage people to stop their consumption, then naturally the amount that's grazed and produced will be dropped until it's no longer relevant in society.
If this vegan activist, Earthling Ed, is saying that he's actually not advocating for the banning of all meat, why are they protesting outside of a small meat farm?
Okay, so she is so wrong about, she's just being ridiculous about everything and trying to spin it right now. First of all, okay, the girl says we want to ban meat. Earthling Ed says we don't necessarily want to ban it, we want to just have people transition over to it. And so there's a little bit of a discrepancy there, but at the same time, Earthling Ed is just saying, hey, we don't want to have some crazy, super intense law that just forces everybody to do everything. We want people to transition. Yet she is kind of being so anti-globalist that she would have, it's almost as if she would have a law that's chopping off every nation from every other nation, which I don't understand how either way it's kind of very tyrannical of her solution and the solution that she claims that can I prove that this is live? Hey Gilbert, I'm not saying your last name Gilbert, but I am proving right now that this is live. Sadly, it's about, I counted like 10 seconds delayed, but okay, yeah, man behind a cult. All right, so I'm gonna get back into it, see what more crazy stuff she has to say right now. Why not? This is all in good fun.
You guys say you want to shut down farms like this that have cattle and pigs and chickens.
And what we do, we use our profits to support the Lord's work.
The Lord's work is to slaughter innocent animals. Yeah, that's not a good Lord right there.
And to take care of our health. We're very picky about what we use. our beef and our hogs. We harvest them here.
He just said harvest. We harvest our beef and our hogs, which is very psychopathic. We harvest people. Yeah, that's very Soylent Green of him.
Started as a hobby with one, and you see how it ended up.
What happens to those animals? You do realize that those animals have been bred in a certain way to be
oh, just wait. This is great. Just wait.
used for us domestically.
As the world shifts to veganism, it'll be a gradual shift, which means that the number of animals that we breed will obviously reduce accordingly as the number of vegans rises, because farmers aren't going to breed animals they know they can't sell.
So the animals will just disappear.
Right, well, so the animals that we breed, the ones that, as you rightfully admitted yourself, are natural animals who can't survive without our help, will disappear. But what that'll allow is for this farmland that we have now to repopulate, for those natural ecosystems to replenish, which will allow natural wildlife to restock in those natural areas.
Do we really want to risk letting our domesticated animals become extinct?
That's it right there. You heard it from the vegan's mouth. They are trying to obliterate all animals. Vegans hate animals, and they're trying to make all our farmed animals extinct. No, this is completely ridiculous. I recently talked about this in a video, and oh my gosh, it's first of all, a lot of these animals actually can rewild, but certain ones cannot rewild, and the idea is you can just stop breeding them, and then I actually mapped this out with the numbers, and you can just let it go down until you just put all the animals that you can afford to in animal sanctuaries. No animal has to go extinct. But of course, it would be more convenient if vegans were trying to genocidally kill all animals, or I guess it wouldn't be genocide, but yeah, horribly kill all animals, because vegans are always the worst, because they have to be the worst. All right, back to it.
Because we just let them go based on some vegan ideology, when we've taken thousands and thousands of years to breed and domesticate these animals for our use, where they can also have a benefit from us as well. Most of what I've encountered...
They can also benefit from our artificial insemination and removal of children and killing against their will.
Talk to these vegan protesters is a bit of a forked tongue discussion. On one hand, they'll say, oh, humans are animals, therefore we have the same value as a pig or a chicken.
Pigs, for instance, are as clever or have been proven to have the same cognitive abilities as a 3-year-old child, so they're more intelligent than a baby up to the age of 3, by scientific studies. So if you're going to go by intelligence and cognitive abilities, then a pig's life should be worth more than a newborn baby's life.
Essentially calling them non-human animals because they're implying that humans are also animals.
We're animals. I mean, even if you believe in the Bible, we're still animals.
Okay, so always an interesting topic to talk about, what matters in terms of intelligence, and is it okay to kill some animal just because they're less intelligent? And oh my gosh, it's just an argument that's completely pointless. It doesn't matter if we're all equal or not equal. Even if you consider a chicken less equal than us, or not equal to us, that does not mean that it's all of a sudden okay to kill some animal that is not as equal. Anyway, that's pretty obvious, hopefully, by this point, so I'm going to go back.
So they push that line of thinking right there, which is moral relativism, but at the same time, they try to appeal to Christian morals and ethics to try to make the argument that it's wrong to kill, therefore we should not kill animals.
Do you think
that's okay? I think that's a little bit more than just Christian ethics to say that you should not kill. I mean, do you guys agree? I don't know. I would have to say that yes. And also, maybe people are just arguing with you, knowing that you are a Christian, and therefore they're trying to appeal to what you are talking about. And so this is, once again, her argument is just failing entirely, but let's keep going.
That a benevolent and compassionate God would be happy with us killing his animals if we didn't have to.
Well, I think that actually, if you want to get into the God in the Bible, Cain and Abel.
Did he want to get in the God in the Bible? Did he? Okay, go for it. Why not? Okay.
Brought God vegetables and fruits as his sacrifice, even though that's not what God asked for. Abel brought to God an animal sacrifice, and that's what,
because he was messed up in the head,
what God asked for. God then let Cain know he was displeased with him. He let Abel know that he was happy with him. What happened? Well, we know that Cain then goes and kills Abel. Was his whole point of killing Abel to prove that Abel's life had no more value than that of the animal sacrifice that God asked for him to
Not at all.
do? So was the first murder done by a vegan?
Oh my God! Was the first murder done by a vegan? Was Hitler a vegan? Oh my! Is every person that was ever horrible in the world a vegan? This is amazing. First of all, we don't need to get too deep into Christianity. There's a lot of Christian arguments for being vegan, whether you're Christian or not. A lot of Christians are always talking about that. And so, I can make a whole video about that. But the point is right now that you're not making vegans look bad because of what Cain allegedly did, or Cain and Abel allegedly did, in a book a long time ago. Okay, so let's get back to it.
You're trying to use Christian morals and principles when you're talking about whether it's wrong or right to kill, but then also saying that you don't believe that we are from God and that we have certain consciousness abilities. How can you argue two separate points simultaneously that conflict with each other?
That's a good question. I believe that obviously morality in many senses is subjective in its purest form, although as humans we do have moral agency, and that's what kind of separates us from wild animals, although wild animals do demonstrate moral agency as well.
Survival of the fittest is the code of animals. So if you want to say humans are animals, humans have the right to eat other animals.
Okay, this is another ridiculous argument. Just because humans are animals doesn't mean they can't be animals with moral. I mean, Earthling, I just said it. There are animals with moral agency. We look at chimpanzees, other primates, gorillas, and things like that. They are showing moral agency. They're defending each other. They have that social tribal situation going on. So just to say that we're an animal doesn't mean that you get to appeal to futility and just throw out all that is good, and so therefore, yeah, you can just do anything horrible. No, that's not what vegans are saying at all. They're just saying that we're all animals, and so we should treat other animals better. We don't have to kill them to survive. And so, yeah, let's get back to it,
So you can't
Millie.
sit there on one side and say humans are animals, but then try to appeal to Christian moral codes of ethics.
And I think the issue is
We're an animal with ethics. Okay, there you go. Just did it.
we have overpopulation, which is a huge issue that's going to affect us all. So, when we look at abortion, if we're going to let every baby that's born on this planet be born, then we're going to have huge issues with population continue to rise.
Okay,
Some of the
whatever.
conditions that these animals have been living in are
yeah,
inhumane
some
and
graphic
they are
footage.
wrong.
Sorry,
And
people,
it
I didn't
is
realize
right
this was going to be
push
graphic
for
footage.
reform in that direction. But to try to push for the entire population or the entire world to stop eating meat, to shut down all slaughterhouses and ban meat production, it's completely too far.
Didn't Earthling Ed just say he's not trying to ban meat production? Okay, you forgot about that. Okay.
Too extreme, unsustainable, and unrealistic.
So how's it unsustainable? I guess she isn't aware that we are already feeding up to half of the world's grain to animals? Okay.
For example, there are tribes and villages in Africa that live off of their cows or their goats to sustain themselves.
Totally side note, I'm pretty sure these are the people that exercise cow blowing, which is where you just take a tube and blow it up a cow's butt in hope of increasing the yield of that cow. And so that is pretty messed up. Okay.
They have a very sacred relationship with these animals, and they have a very dependent relationship with these animals.
So this has nothing to do with you, Millie. You aren't here. You aren't raising animals in a subsistence environment, and I've talked about a lot of these points in a very recent video in more coherent detail. But first of all, you just can't appeal to poor people when you're not poor. And the idea is, again, I talk about all these ways to reverse desertification in these areas, and if the whole world went vegan, then we could support these people. We could do the de-desertification, greening of the desert programs that they have in China, which have been very successful, and there's even economic incentives as well for people who do that in China, and it's amazing what they've accomplished there. And so we could still have these people be producing food, and that's the last thing that you would ever need to worry about. Once we have the entire Western world choosing to go vegan, then we can worry about that stuff.
If these animals were to disappear, these people would probably not be able to sustain themselves, because in many of these areas in Africa, the land is actually not very arable. And look, I will say that there are some health benefits to trying out a vegan diet lifestyle.
She's so neutral right now, but just wait till the end. You're gonna laugh so hard at what is at the end in with this in mind.
But what's unnatural is to push an ideology, a diet, and a lifestyle that actually could not be sustained in real life if it weren't solely dependent on technology. In the developed world, veganism is a luxury diet that many trendy liberals can enact.
Many trendy liberals. It's just funny how it's so politicized. Like, she's trying to politicize the whole thing. First of all, we already know that I have a a video on veganism and privilege and how expensive veganism it is and how you can make it the cheapest diet possible between, legumes and beans and various foods like that. And how is it really that trendy? It is something that has been going on for a long time in various cultures. And so, okay, and I will say, just because it's a trend does not mean it's bad. There's a new trend of not sexually assaulting women, hopefully. I hope so.
But
how about that?
In reality, in most other countries, it's not anywhere near practical or realistic for them to enact a vegan diet. I'm not necessarily pushing for any specific diet.
I just want to hate on veganism.
But what I am doing is questioning the validity behind some of these vegan arguments.
Are you questioning the validity? Is it really just about questioning validity? Okay, what's the title? You're calling it a globalist cult. That sounds like a step past questioning the validity of these claims, which you have then responded with ridiculous, completely factually incorrect responses. Okay, let's get to the end here because this is hilarious. Okay, there's the outro, and then wait for it. Oh my gosh, I gotta see you guys' reaction.
Fuel your body with Carnivore, the new digestive enzyme product by InfoWars Life. Digestive enzymes assist in the digestion process and increase the bioavailability of nutrients by breaking down foods into easily absorbable components.
Because your body is incapable of actually digesting that much protein.
They also help prevent discomfort from indigestion caused by fermentation of undigested food particles in the gut.
Which is actually what causes colorectal cancer, real quick. When you, the methionine and various sulfur-rich things in red meat and other animal products like eggs become, protein fermentation in the gut, and that can create some oxidative stress, and then it can shred your colon and lead to cancer, which is, oh my gosh. And so why are they doing an anti-vegan series on this right now? Does it have to do with the fact that they're maybe trying to sell some carne supplements? Okay, let's just see right now. Okay, let's get back to it.
Digestive enzyme production declines as we age. Carnivore is filled with digestive enzymes like those
Isn't that an argument to maybe go vegan for older people? How about that?
Naturally present in the body. Enjoy the full potential of protein-rich foods again. You can eat protein-heavy foods now while minimizing the later indigestion and discomfort commonly associated with high-meat diets.
Commonly associated. So did you just see what they just admitted? That commercial just admitted that people commonly have digestive issues on a freaking high meat diet. So yeah, send that girl some beans, says Luann. So I completely agree. Yeah, cancer's tasty. They're definitely eating cancer. It's high protein. You got to get those enzymes to digest the cancer that they don't remove in the process. So that was it for watching her video. It was pretty amazingly ridiculous, and I had a great time just laughing at it really hard. And yeah, if I made a non-live video, I probably could have gone a little bit more into it, and more coherently, got more studies and stuff like that. But I figured this would be a fun way to do it. And yes, the mental gymnastics are real, as you guys are saying. It's just completely amazing that it's like there's always another angle to try and criticize veganism from, and globalization. Why not? Let's try and oh my gosh, let's try and just destroy veganism any angle that we can. Oh, thank you very much, Steph. I really appreciate it. Yeah, this is the first time I've done Super Chat, and so I appreciate it very much. I'm just kind of trying it out and seeing what happens. No pressure at all. So I'm going to leave about 5 minutes here for questions, just so that when people see this video later, they won't be overwhelmed by the length of it. So I'm going to read what you guys are saying. Yeah, their commercial really did kind of ruin the point there. And yeah. So let me know your good questions right here. Yeah, herbivores pretending to be carnivores. Even if you do believe you're an omnivore, they're admitting that they're an omnivore that can't handle that much meat and therefore needs to buy products to then digest those, which is kind of crazy. And I do believe is a factor in doing anti-vegan videos. Possibly not. So yeah, what's my opinion on salt? So we're going to go into some major tangents here. So if you just came here for that video, we're done talking about Millie. We're done talking about InfoWars. Globalism isn't the scariest thing in the world. It can have scary aspects, but there's no reason to just tyrannically cut off trade between countries and be afraid to be vegan because of globalism. That is so obvious. So salt, I'm probably going to do a salt video at some point in the future. I've kind of been sitting on sort of resources on that, and so yeah, it'll come out at some point in the future. And so what else are you guys asking here? How's my master's in public health going? I'm actually doing a statistics class right now which is good. It's just a lot of effort, a lot of just time that I have to put into it, and so it's making it a little bit more difficult to keep things going at the same rate. But it's good going in depth about statistics and studies, and so hopefully down the line when I do make a study, I can get all the statistics going. I'll probably, work with somebody who's even better at statistics too. Am I going to make an Anthonybourdain video? Let me know if you still think that I should. I sort of thought about putting it off for maybe another week or so, just because the Anthonybourdain issue is still a little sensitive. And my views on him are not as negative as other vegans' views on him. I'm probably not going to. I'm probably going to say some stuff that is not necessarily the nicest about him, and so I'm going to let it kind of blow over a little bit more. Thank you, Kaiza. I appreciate it so much. I don't know what 20 secs are, SEKs, but awesome. I'm so glad to have helped in any way. Making a video on the usage of insects. So I have honey production. I believe I talked about honey in a previous video. It was actually a Q&A video. And insects in general. For me, it's, like cricket protein. It's a step above animals in terms of environmental sustainability. It's just you just don't need animals to live. You don't need to funnel more grain and stuff into crickets to get protein to then eat. It's just another way of throwing away stuff. 2 secs equals 20 secs equals $2. Cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, so Anthonybourdain, everyone's saying, yeah, I should do it. And so I will in the future. I'm just going to chill a little bit on it, even though it's like a trending topic. Nicholas, $5, thank you very much. Greetings from Washington, D.C. I was born in Washington, D.C., actually. She does not have any idea about economics either. Yes, yeah. And so where are you going to prepare food on camera again? I think I'm going to do a DIY yogurt video, make your own yogurt. Vegan yogurt, and I might try and go as far as to make your own vegan froyo, and I think that would be great. Collab with Earthling Ed, yeah, if he wants to. I met Earthling Ed at a vigil in LA not that long ago, talked to him briefly, would have liked to have been in town more to talk to him, but yeah, he's doing great stuff. I am amazed that he was able to remain that patient while talking to her and trying to not offend her after being asked ridiculous things, and then immediately after answering, having her just shift what he was saying into something that was just completely ridiculous. Vegan fridge tour, yeah, I could give a vegan fridge tour and maybe do a vegan shopping tour as well. Send some sourdough, yeah, I can mail you that goji berry loaf. It'd be pretty cool. Video on fermented foods. I've been thinking about this for a while because a lot of cultures, indigenous cultures do a lot of fermentation, and it's with good reason. I mean, I do believe that a lot of our gut biome can sort of handle the stuff that is taken out, like for example phytates or something that if you soak or ferment you'll get rid of. But we have the study showing that a vegetarian gut biome, at least in a simulation, digested all the phytate. Now I don't know if that's happening with every vegan in real life. There are probably vegans who are taking antibiotics, taking various things that are destroying their gut biome, and so it's not working. And so do a Kat Von D vaccination video. Oh man, I don't know if I want to get into vaccinations. I've thought about it. So yeah, she's saying she's not going to vaccinate her baby, and so that has gotten some pushback. I have a nuanced view on vaccinations. I believe there are necessary vaccinations and frivolous vaccinations, and so everybody can hate my view on vaccinations. So I probably won't. I don't know. I probably won't talk about that. So I'm going to give it about 2 minutes right now, and then we're going to cut off. Let's see what else we got here. Sverage, someone's saying. Talking about Sverage, who's the guy that eats an all-meat diet. Raw meat diet, I believe. Yeah, he almost died because of his raw meat diet. He got an infection. It might have been, a life-threatening infection. Decides to still do it. Thank you for liking my bread video. That was a fun video to do. I just went too overboard and ended up filming like a small bread documentary. Yeah, kind of bad. Please talk about vaccinations. So maybe I will at some point. It's just like there's veganism and there's vaccinations, and vaccinations is kind of pretty far over there. And so there's probably some overlap, and so I might talk about it. But yeah, with Kat Von D kind of brings it all together. And so maybe I'll take one or two last things. So yeah, my almond milk. I'm glad you like my almond milk video. So that's why I might do almond yogurt, I might do cashew yogurt, and I might do coconut. It's a cello. It is a cello, and it's kind of like on my guitar's on it. It's kind of like having sex with my guitar. They're like laying on top of each other. And so, yeah, the musical babies are going to be made. Yeah, that's an electronic cello, so it's pretty fun. I'm not very good at it, though. Steer clear of vax. That's probably a good idea. vegan flat earthers, we've officially divulged to the point and we're talking about flat earthers and vaccinations now. We're talking about whether it's a good idea or not to talk about it. So, okay, I'm taking one last question, and that is it. Can I translate? Yes, anybody can do translation. They can do community submissions for translations. Major thanks to everybody. I have dozens and dozens of translations in many videos on my channel, so I really appreciate it. And yeah, ask yourself. I've said before, I'm glad to join a debate with you if you want. If we want to take somebody on, not a problem at all. And yeah, I think we're about to call it a day. If you thought about vegan cookbook reviews, I mean, I could do it. I don't know how many people would really want to watch a whole video about me just being like, here's a book. It's great. It's not great, or whatever. So I think I'm going to have to, I probably won't end up doing that. So where are my vegan info warriors are? Yeah, there probably are some vegan supporters of InfoWars, so I'd be curious to see what the vegan InfoWars people think about this. And so, okay, great. I think that's about it for the day. Hey, Banana Warrior Princess. And hey, bye everybody, I guess. Keep your eye out for my Froyo video. I'm going to try and do one in the Instant Pot and one not in the Instant Pot. And so, yeah, I'm happy to have I thought this was a hilarious topic, so I had a great time doing it. And so now I'm going to stop the stream. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it, and I'm so happy that you guys came on, and this went pretty well. Let me know what you thought about it, later on, people who are commenting later, let me know, hey, I'd rather not do the live ones, it's too long for them, stick to the normal ones, or live ones are okay every once in a while, so let me know. All right, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.